Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Evan Geyer. Oh my goodness, they're crazy. They're crazy cuckoo. They are just absolutely crazy. And I'll tell you what I did wrong at the end of this short movie. They're buying back shares at high prices. They're paying doubly taxed dividends. They're getting taxed on the money when they make it, and then you're getting taxed when you pay the dividends, and they're still paying dividends even though they're doubly taxed. They're buying back shares when they're sky high, like they're going to be go out there and just print a bunch of money and do what they shouldn't be doing for inflation and for the little guy and for the worker. They're crazy cuckoo. We need a united plan. We need a united plan to get things going together. So when we all know what to do, we know what's going to happen and we can win. We need to stand behind King Dollar. It's a way to move up even if you've messed up your whole life. You can stand behind King Dollar. You can stand behind uh, oil. Even though it's not going to go up as fast if we do King Dollar, it'll still go outperform the oil and gas will still outperform the market. So that's what we're talking about here. Outperformance, King Dollar. Yes, the Federal Reserve has been doing the right thing. You saw politicians bash the Federal Reserve like it's the Federal Reserve's fault for the economy. Well, look at yourself. What are you doing? Are you investing in 30-year T-bonds? Are you invested in the Americans? Or are you doing your own side projects um, to make your own money and not even keeping up with inflation? Why are they not keeping up with inflation? And they're in the government and they're not keeping up with inflation and they're not on your side because they don't have a bunch of 30-year T-bills, which is owning the government debt, so that if something does happen to the dollar, something does occur that's not good for the American people, they lose as well. So the Federal Reserve's been doing the correct thing. Sometimes you got to look at the politicians and are they on your side? Do they invest in a 30-year T-bond? Are they beating inflation so that they're paying their own taxes to the government, that they're spending your money? Are they spending their own money as well? Or are they just losing money or not competing by being defeating inflation by making 20% when inflation is 5%? Are they doing that or are they not? It's a problem when politicians make money and then bets on a company which is supposed to be evil when they're running the government that is supposed to be good, especially if they have been losing money and aren't keeping up with inflation because they aren't on your side financially and they aren't paying taxes either. Business is supposed to be evil. Government is supposed to be good. But good doesn't mean put a bunch of price tax on there, price caps on there so they can't charge the right price. You still got to let the free market work. But maybe you can break up a business, or maybe you can do the right incentives in the right spot so that the people can have energy in the future, like my $3.4 trillion energy bill. Now buying bonds with longer maturities and interest rates, well, that's what some of the banks are doing. They're buying 10-year bonds. The banks, like your bank, J.P. Morgan, U.S. Bank, the big ones, Silicon Valley Bank. They're buying 10-year bonds, and if interest rates go up from here, they got to hold on to it for 10 years, or they take a loss on selling the bond. So they're nuts and crazy because the interest rates on the short term are even higher than they are on the long term. You got 5% on like a 6-year T-bill, 6-month T-bill, and you got like 4% on a 10-year T-bill, or 3.5%. Right now it's what is it, March 29th of 2023. They're crazy cuckoo. They're crazy cuckoo. Cuckoo. Don't pick a number as a price. Okay. Those are things that, we'll get back to that at the end. What I did wrong. Okay, so that's my opinion. I'm not the government. I'm not the Federal Reserve, so I can't sway my opinion. But I have a YouTube, and maybe someday it'll blow up, and we'll be there. They're buying back shares high. And they'll know it if they're behind King Dollar. And if they know it, then they can do the right thing and not buy back shares, put cash on a balance sheet, and support King Dollar. If they think the Fed's going to lower interest rates, or if they think the Fed's going to not support the dollar, then the businesses, which are supposed to be evil, might be doing the wrong thing. And, it's not always their fault, just like it's not always the politician's fault, because you're 1 in 100, even in the Senate, and you don't get a lot of time to speak or get your opinion out. So that we got to stop it. We got to get behind one vision and do that. King Dollar, cash on the balance sheets for the companies. Stop buying back shares with higher prices. Stop paying doubly taxed dividends. And do the correct thing for the American people, for the shareholder. All right. I've talked enough about that. I'll talk about my mistake. This was about 6 months back. Oil prices went down to about $75 a barrel. This was just WTI. You can mix the numbers out however you want. But I said, oh no, oil prices aren't going to go below $75 a barrel. Well, in comparison to what? Like, the Fed could just hike it 2%, 3%, and then oil prices go below $75. Or the government could just sell from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve more than I'm expecting, and oil prices could go below $75. It wasn't the smartest thing, but you got to do it with giggles. you gotta make a price target with giggles, because it's fun to do price targets, even if you don't think you're always going to be correct. So that you can still do it. Yeah, I do a $75 bottom on WTI with giggles. The thing that's not giggles is oil and gas production and exploration companies are going to outperform the market, because you're comparing things. You're saying, here's the market like Microsoft or Apple, and here's like Exxon, and as long as there's no spill for Exxon, which is a out of this world comparison, then it's going to outperform. And that's something that you can rationally, generally know, especially over a long term, if you know what's going on and you understand the economy. So I got it wrong. I put a $75 price target. I said oil would hit $350 a barrel before it went below 75, and that was the wrong way to go about doing it, because the 75 was with giggles. The 350, if there's no timeline on it, and oil's more than half gone, isn't so much with giggles, but there's a lot of things that could go on that could potentially change that. Like, is the dollar going to go digital, or is things like that. Like, is it 7 years? Is it 5 years? Is it 2 years? I would suggest is there's higher probability if you put it like 9 or 10 years. But it's still a little bit with giggles, and it's really with giggles if you're trying to defend or put on a short-term price. So this is one of my longer short-term movies. Short movies. And I just want to emphasize that I made the wrong mistake by trying to put a price on the floor, not realizing that the government could turn around after they said they were done selling from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and sell more, not realizing the impact of all the Federal Reserve hikes. So, yeah, I messed up. I put a price on it. Now I do prices with giggles. I don't do prices, because I don't want someone selling on my dime because I said it was 75. And then you could say Brent didn't go below 75 for a while, but then the government turned around and sold even more. So, I was wrong. Whether I'm sorry about being wrong, I don't know yet. But I was wrong. Prices with giggles, not prices to determine someone selling or buying at a specific price, because it's really hard to get a specific price. You can try, and that's fun, and you can make money doing it, and sometimes you're right, but sometimes you're wrong. Whereas a comparison is more likely to be right. Alrighty, that's what I got. Talk to you later, and see ya. Calculated. Sorry. I'm sorry I put a price target on oil and it was wrong. I shouldn't be putting a price target on something because someone could put it as a stop loss and they might lose their money based on my price target. So now on, it's price targets with giggles. I'm sorry. Sorry.